Good morning. How are we? So, do you ever feel overwhelmed with what you're trying to accomplish, your health, your business, and we just feel paralyzed and just can't move? We don't know what to do next. So, I have some 5 tips for you and a bonus one at the end on how to overcome that and find that joy back in your life and in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So, good morning and welcome. If you're joining me live, please say hello and tell me where you're coming from. It's wonderful to see people from all over the globe join us, and I appreciate everybody that joins me and participates in the conversation. And if we haven't met before, my name is Dodd, and I'm here today actually on 2 places. I'm here on my business page to inspire, encourage, educate, train you whatever way I can so that you can build your business online and leverage the power of social media. And I'm also broadcasting that to my health page where I want to inspire, encourage you to have a healthy lifestyle, toxin-free. So I'm doing a double duo today, testing that out and seeing how that works, because today is all about mindset and personal development. Monday, start off the day. Because when we have ourselves in the right place, then we are ready to accomplish our goals and set forth in a much better way. So I like to talk about some self-development tips on Monday morning. So welcome. So today it's about overwhelm. And I'm sure a lot of you have been there. I know I have, certainly many, many times. It comes and goes, and it's certainly kind of a way of life in our daily lives these days. And so why do we get that overwhelm? Like, what happens? So let's just take a moment to think about the why in it, so that if we know kind of what's happening, then we're better able to look at it. So why does that happen? So maybe that we're learning new skills, and it can be really hard when you're first learning things because it's brand new and it's difficult because it's new. And so we see it as hard, but once we get over that initial newness and we get our feeling more confident about it, then that overwhelm starts to dissolve. So maybe that's the case. Maybe it's just a case of it's brand new, and just being able to conquer that knowledge, step by step, and realizing that takes time, or knowing that it is a big. Look at the big picture of it. Knowing that it is maybe a month challenge or a year challenge or whatever it is. It's going to take this amount of time to learn this, and looking at that big picture so that the difficulty and confusion is all around it being new. Or another way that could be overwhelmed is there's too many options in this day and age of the internet. There's so many things coming at us. The shiny object syndrome. Everything looks like it could be, a better way to do it. So we try that, and we have too many things on our plate. I know I have certainly signed up for many courses, mini courses, or what have you, and they're on my list of things to do, and I still haven't got to them. And it's like, okay, so I have a list on my whiteboard beside my desk, and someday I'll get to them, and I'm really interested in them, but I can't do it right now. I have other things that have more priority. So if we have too many options, then we question what we're doing. So narrow it down and pick a priority. Another reason we could be overwhelmed is we want those immediate results, no matter what it is, whether we're learning something new, we're starting a new business, we're losing weight, we're looking after our health. We want that instant gratification. There could be pressure, maybe, spouse or friends are looking, watching you, thinking, okay, well, maybe questioning, your motives and why you're doing something. So we're expecting results right away. And that could also cause overwhelm. And then, of course, there's the last one, good old life itself. Things do come up. We get sick. We have elderly parents. We have children with difficulties, they get ill, just stuff happens. And if we're stressed, then it's really hard to manage these things. For instance, just a couple of weeks ago, I lost my Visa card. And so I had to go through all that stuff and change all my merchant information and all that kind of stuff. And so at the time I was a little stressed, and of course, I didn't handle it well. So that can definitely play a big part in it. And so what happens when we get overwhelmed? We have that feeling of we're paralyzed, we're just stuck. You just want to just give it all up, and we don't move forward. We just sit there and things just kind of spin, and we just wallow, I guess would be a good word, in our emotions. And, that tight feeling in our chest. So we definitely want to, first of all, breathe and get over that. Just switch, turn my page here on my notes. So now, how do we get over that? So let's talk about, I have 5 tips for you. So the best thing, of course, is to recognize that feeling of overwhelm. You're sitting there and just that physical feeling, just, I don't know where to turn. I have so many things to do. I just don't know what to do first. Recognizing it and just accepting it. And always, I find, just taking a moment, taking a deep breath. Maybe it even means taking a walk in nature, just getting away from it for a moment, to recognize that you are in overwhelm. So it's not good for your health. It's not good for your business. Just take that moment to, okay, this is where I'm at. How can I, get over these crazy thoughts? So then the next one is changing those thoughts. So we also start to tell ourselves false stories, like maybe this is too hard, I'm too old to learn this, I'm not good enough, I'm not techie enough, I'm not good at this stuff. And finally on live. Oh, it must be. Oh, maybe it's Diane. I think it's Diane. Hi, good morning, Diane. How are you? I'm putting myself on a comment. We tell ourselves these false stories that hold ourselves back, these limiting beliefs, that we're not good enough and that kind of thing. So when we hear ourselves say these things, step back and say, okay, is this really true? What have I done in the past that I have been good at? Or look at times in the past when I've overcome some things, these belief patterns. Pay attention to the thoughts that you tell yourself, inside your head that may not even be out loud, and ask yourself, are they accurate? They may not even be accurate. And go deep. So what specifically, are you holding yourself back from? What do you believe that you can't do? And really be specific about that, and then search and think about, okay, what have I done in the past that proves that wrong? Where am I wrong on that? And that'll make a huge difference. And then also think about, okay, what fuels your happiness? Maybe right now it's challenging because it's new, but how can you bring some joy into that? Maybe I'll just I'm you this morning. That's funny. Yes. I think there's a little arrow where you can say who you want to be when you make comments, right beside where you write comments, and you see that profile head. There's an arrow there, and you can click who you want to respond at, possibly. I might try that, but that's funny. Okay, so going deep and looking at, what your beliefs are about yourself. Okay, so number 3 is multitasking, that mentality. Have you ever been working on something on your computer and you hear that ding and a message comes in and you kind of see a little bit of those messages, or it comes down below and you're trying to work on this and you think, okay, I really should respond to that person right now. Or you start thinking about that conversation. Well, I can really help them on that if I just take a moment. And so then you're torn. So you go over and you answer that message, and then you think, okay, that's done. And I'm back to where I was before. And then bing, another message comes in. So you're going back and forth. And this has happened to me. And that's when that overwhelm comes in and that horrible feeling of going back and forth and back and forth. Multitasking just doesn't work. You cannot really multitask. There's no focus on either side of what you're trying to do. So pick one and do it and not do the other one. So if you're saying, okay, this is my time frame to work on this task, for my business or whatever it is, then turn off the messages or say, I'll get back to you in 15 minutes, and then really concentrate, because multitasking just doesn't work. So that kind of rolls into number 4, is focusing on one thing. Pick something that maybe is easy so that you can do in, 10, 15 minutes, and then you can check it off. There we go. This is a great subject. I needed to hear this. There we go. You're back as you again. Perfect. Thanks for joining me. Yeah. So having that ability to check something off the list, it just makes such a big deal. I was working on something yesterday and it was taking me just a little bit longer than I really wanted to spend on it. But I thought, no, I'm going to push through and finish it, because if I don't, it's still hanging there on my to-do list and it's still nagging at me that I haven't got it done. So it took another 15 minutes or something like that, but then I got it done. And there's something about doing that check off on the list that is so satisfying. So maybe it works if you have a list of things to do the short ones first so that they're actually checked off. And then when you get to the long one, you can really concentrate on it. Or maybe it works that work on the long one if that's the priority, and then the other ones are less priority, so they don't matter. But pick one thing to focus on at a time. And once you decide that that's the priority, then that is it. Focus on that one thing. And then number 5 is, again, doing these things daily. Whatever it is, take the actual action, rather than not just more than focusing, but actually taking the action so that you get it done. And it can be whatever time slot it is. Maybe it's 15 minutes, half an hour, but a little bit at a time in a day. Like I have a project creating my content every month that does take a period of time, but if I work at it a little bit every day, then slowly but surely it gets done. And with that, leaning into those things that are a challenge to us. I used to find the content creation a challenge, and now I'm beginning to find a method that works for me. And so now it's not so much of an overwhelm. So I'm leaning into it more, leaning into that challenge. And it helps me, move forward. And then just as a bonus tip, I said 5, but I have a bonus one, is following people who have, gone through the same challenge, learning from them, and whatever that looks like, so that in doing so, you can find some tips and maybe learn a little bit more about yourself, whether it's from books or podcast. And finding more about yourself is really key, because it helps you overcome things that are a struggle for you, things where you can develop, and then putting aside those limiting beliefs and finding that happiness in it. Maybe if you have a task that you don't necessarily like, put on a song or some music that, peps you up and makes you feel good. And just to have that joy in life rather than that overwhelm. Know what makes you feel down. Like I can put on some nice music and do a little dance and that kind of thing so that you can have some content, or promise yourself, okay, I'm going to get this done and then I'm going to go for a walk that I really enjoy, or give yourself some kind of reward. So that's it for me today, and I hope that has been helpful. If you know anyone who could benefit from this, please feel free to pass this along. And I appreciate everyone who's come on, no matter whose name they are. And thank you for joining me. And just to let you know, I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at approximately 9 a.m. Pacific time in Canada. I'm on the West Coast. And thank you for joining me. So until next time, have a wonderful day, whatever part of the day it is for you. Bye for now.